Thank you so much for having you again in 2025. It was great to have you and bring great professionals here since the last 5 years that have been able to educate our viewers. And we are on it again, starting with great people. And when I turn the screen, you'll see who I have right now. Hello, Clinton. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Lucy? Nice to see you.
Good. We're happy to have you again for the second time on the Entrepreneur TV show hosted by Rogers TV. Welcome to 2025. And I know you have great things for our viewers. But what I want us to start with is you telling our viewers a little bit your name so they get to know you and why you are speaking to them.
Oh, for sure. Yes. No, my name is Clinton Howell, and I'm with Remax Escarpment Realty based out of the Burlington North Millcroft location. And yeah, it's great to be here. And I've been with Entrepreneur Nation now for a few years, so we've got to know each other very well, Lucy.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you. Actually, I feel like, Clinton, you're not just a member of the Entrepreneur Nation, but as a friend. And that's why whenever I message you there, I always say, hi, my friend. And we'll talk about that at the end of it to show how we have built a relationship and friendships of a long period of time. But what I want to do right now, you are a real estate broker, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So we have a few questions for you because we are getting into the spring market. And so is this a good time to list? We are still in the winter time, but we are going to be ending in the springtime. Is this a good time to list, Clinton?
Yes, it's actually a very good time to list. The market is picking up very quickly. We've been anticipating an early spring market for some time now. There's a lot of pent-up demand, and as these interest rates have been coming down from the Bank of Canada, a lot of buyers are re-entering the market. So yes, we're seeing quite a number of new listings entering the market, and buyers are getting excited, and we're definitely seeing signs of that early spring market that we've been anticipating. So yeah, great time to be listing. February is going to be very busy.
Awesome. And even as we say that, to qualify you to give advice to our members, I really wanted to show our members that you're very successful in real estate. How long have you been doing that, and you've won so many awards?
Well, thank you very much. I've been in real estate now for 11 years, and prior to that, I had 25 years of business experience. So I've had a lot of time to work with thousands of different clients and gain a ton of experience. But real estate's been 11 years now.
Awesome. So our viewers, I'm bringing you a broker who is a part of the Hall of Fame. Wonderful. So now then, is there a better time to list than now? I know people say spring market and all that, but Clinton, I can see you're selling all the time. I follow you on LinkedIn, you're selling. Is there a better time than now?
You know, it's a great question, and it really depends very much on the goals, your goals particularly, right? So I mean, if you are, say, for example, a person that's looking to retire and possibly rent or move into a retirement community where you're renting, then you know, in my opinion, you might want to wait a slight bit of time, maybe wait another 60 days or so, because we are expecting to see the prices start to climb this year, and a lot of that price climbing tends to happen during the spring market. So if you're trying to get absolutely maximum dollar out of your property and for this year, and to not be purchasing something, you might want to hold off a tiny bit. In terms of if you're buying and selling, you know, I always say it's best to do that at the same timing, right? Because you're protected if you're buying and selling in the same market to a certain degree. You know, you're dealing with the same price base, so you can make good decisions, right? So it is a good time to list. It's also a good time to buy. There's lots of properties coming out on the market right now, so it's a great time for buyers to see a good selection of properties and make good decisions, and then they can sell their home into the spring market. So it's good. So I guess it depends on the timing and what your goals are. But man, in a general sense, right now the spring market is a good time to list your property for sure.
Awesome, great. And so then, Clinton, because I know a lot is happening. A lot is happening in Canada, actually, and the US, and we won't get into politics. But
Yes.
what do you see happening in the housing prices this year?
This year, yeah, it's anticipated the prices will be going up this year somewhat, and it's varied. The forecasts are varied, but there is consistency among, if you look at the Canadian Real Estate Association, if you look at Remax's outlook, look at Royal LePage's outlooks, you will see a consistency that the prices will be climbing. And those forecasts vary depending on the parts of Canada. I mean, we're focused here on the Burlington area, Burlington, Hamilton, Oakville. And in this region, we're expecting to see, 5 to 10% increase in prices. We haven't really seen the prices increasing yet, but it has been quite stable in a general sense for the last few months. And like I said, we're seeing a lot of demand building and listings starting to hit the market. So yeah, I'm expecting we'll start to see for sure some of that price gain in the coming months.
Awesome. So Clinton, let me ask you then, and I'm happy that you have talked about Burlington area and GTA area. I know prices can be quite high in those areas. And so then what do you define as being luxury? What's the difference between luxury, working with the luxury clients and all that? Talk about luxury.
Sure. So luxury is, it's in the eye of the beholder to a certain degree. But in terms of real estate, we tend to look at the luxury market as being, $3 million and up in terms of the detached homes and things like that. When it comes to condos, you're more into that, $1.5 million and up on the condo apartments. And it's a different buyer. I mean, the luxury buyer tends to have more resources, has more wealth, of course. So the need for financing can be quite different. I mean, oftentimes if someone's buying a property that's $3 or $4 or $10 million, let's say, oftentimes these buyers don't even need mortgages. So it's a very different market than, for example, the first-time buyers, which are focused more on that, 700 to 1 million range. That's a very different market, very dependent on financing, very sensitive to the interest rates. So the luxury market tends to be quite different from the mainstream market.
Thank you. And so, Clinton, then, so we have talked about luxury. Let's talk about affordability. So how do you see the market going? Do you think that the younger families, young people, young couples, first-time home buyers, new immigrant to Canada, do you think they are going to be able to afford to buy?
I mean, it's a great question. Affordability has been one of the big topics on the news these days. A lot of headlines around affordability, and it's challenging. I mean, properties are expensive. We're seeing this. Interest rates have gone up, but in terms of a traditional sense, interest rates aren't crazy right now. I mean, if you look at the past 20 years, I mean, you can get a 5-year fixed mortgage in that 4% range. You can get variable rate mortgages that are fairly reasonable. And there's been some recent changes to help the first-time buyers. December 15th, there was some mortgage changes which allowed for longer amortization periods and also allowed for high leverage mortgages, so less than 20% deposits. They increased that threshold from 1 million to 1.5 million. So they're basically making it a bit easier for the first-time buyers to get financing. One of the top goals for the younger folks right now is to buy a property and to become homeowners. And it makes sense because if you look at statistically, people that own homes tend to end up being in a better position from a wealth standpoint. So it is top of mind for a lot of the younger buyers. And that the vast majority of the population in our country at this point is those younger folks. And that's one of their top goals is to own property. So affordability is a concern. Making mortgage payments, of course, is a concern. But there has been some changes recently to help that. And as I mentioned, the rates as they're coming down, this will help. This will help right now in terms of variable rate mortgages. Each time those rates come down, there's an immediate impact. And we are, generally speaking, we're seeing a forecast that the fixed rates will be coming down some more throughout the year. But they don't tend to. Each time the Bank of Canada makes an adjustment to the overnight rate, it doesn't directly impact the fixed rates, unfortunately. But those are more tied to the bond market. But we are expecting over the next 12 months or so to be seeing those fixed rates coming down. So this is more of a discussion for mortgage brokers and bankers to discuss with the clients in terms of best strategies for mortgage financing. But like I said, in a traditional sense, right now, the lending rates are pretty decent.
Thank you, Clinton. So they say history repeats itself. 2024 was a very tough year for many Canadians. So we don't want 2024 to repeat itself, Clinton. But can you tell us, how do you compare 2024 and 2025? Do you think we should expect a better year?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, it's no one has a crystal ball. There is some wild cards, as I call them, right now in the mix. With the recent change in presidency in the United States and potential threats with these new tariffs. So, I think if anything, I mean, the Bank of Canada is going to continue to reduce the rates, to continue to get into that neutral. They're already into the neutral sort of zone with the interest rates. I think they're going to keep heading lower to get to that area where it's going to stimulate the economy. It seems that the inflation numbers are coming in on check now, and they're within the target range. So, I think we just need to kind of wait and see what's going to happen. There's a lot of changes right now, a little bit of chaos, if you will, in terms of where the economy is going to go. But I do see, in a general sense, that there's a lot of interested people looking to buy properties, and a lot of people that would like to sell properties as well. So I think real estate's going to be busy no matter what happens in the economy. And whether this year's, I think it will be different than 2024 in the sense that when real estate prices tend to be on the increasing trend, the market tends to be more robust, because we think when things are declining, just psychologically, if you're a buyer and you're seeing prices decline each month, your motivation is to wait, because next month I'm going to get a better price. But when things are going up, your motivation is to, I better buy something more rapidly, because I don't want to have to pay another 5% in 6 months. So the direction things are going right now, I think it's going to be a stronger real estate market than last year.
Thank you for that forecast. So Clinton, when we look at the real estate broker IQ, we automatically think that everyone is helping with buying and selling of real estate. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, do you help with buying and selling? And before you answer that question, I want to thank you so much, because I get a lot of feedback from the members of the Entrepreneur Nation. I know there is one member, we've never mentioned names, who asked you to help his son to find a home, and it took you a long time to find a suitable home for that person. I know there's another one who was looking for this type of home, and it took you a long time. Your patience is very well known. So, but tell us, do you work with buyers and sellers, or who are your ideal clients?
Yeah, no, 100%. Great question. No, I work with buyers, I work with sellers, I work with tenants and landlords as well. And I even do commercial work. So there's quite a number of opportunities that I get involved with to help people. And one of the things that I love about my work is that I get to be involved with people at critical stages of their lives, and be very supportive and provide guidance and really lend a hand with that information. One of the things that I really value is just being patient. Like, I'm not in a rush. If you're in a rush, then I'll be in a rush along with you. If you're not in a rush, I'm not in a rush either. Basically, whatever you need from a support standpoint is what I'm here to provide. Sometimes I get a buyer that's, I get referred to someone that already has a property in mind, and we go and see it, assess it, look at the value, negotiate a deal, and a purchase is made. And other times I've got someone that wants to learn about the market, learn about different neighborhoods, and we'll start with a much wider search, visit different neighborhoods, different types of properties, do our research, and then gradually narrow that search down and hone in on something that makes sense. And that process, that could take a month, 6 months. I've had some clients that have looked at properties for 3 years before they bought something. But the good news is I'm going to be with you every step of the way and work at your pace and make sure that it's your goals and dreams that are achieved.
Thank you, Clinton. So I have a question for you, and I tried to look at history a little bit and not wanting to go back to it, but there was some bidding wars. We heard they were called bidding wars during the pandemic. So sometimes people did not even have time to do home inspection. So what's going on now? Are there bidding wars, or are things coming down?
Yes, no, the bidding wars. The pandemic was quite an interesting time. Everyone wanted to move to bigger spaces. A lot of people there was a trend for moving out in the country. Everyone was buying a dog. Dog sales were at record highs. A lot of people working from home. A lot of changes in lifestyle. So the pandemic was a very interesting, unique time in real estate, and it was an extreme seller's market pretty much all through the pandemic, except for the very beginning where everyone was scared, which was a great buying opportunity. But through the pandemic, in a general sense, it was a very strong seller's market. When you're dealing with a strong seller's market, this is the type of thing where you could take a property. Let's just say hypothetically we've got a property that's worth market value, say around $1 million. During an extreme seller's market like the pandemic, you'd go and you'd price that property, well below its market value, like $899, for example, and you would hold off on offers for 5 business days. and you get a flurry of showings and everyone getting through that property, and you'd end up with 10 or 15 or 20 offers on that property. And I'll tell you, 90% of those offers were people hoping they could buy it for that kind of $899 or $915. Then you'd get those top 3 people that did their homework and knew that property was worth $1 million, and they knew the market was trending up every single month. So they'd come in with offers like $1.05 million, 1.1, 1.2. And it's what was driving the market up and selling properties above market value. So that was kind of the psychology of the bidding wars. It only really works in an extreme seller's market. Right now, it's been more of a buyer's market / balanced market, depending on the neighborhood. At times, certain property types, certain neighborhoods have experienced seller's market conditions in the past year. But for the most part, it's more of a buyer's market that has been lately. And in a buyer's market, these bidding wars tend to not work the same way. So when you could take a property, you can still generate a bidding war. You take that same $1 million house. Let's say something's worth $1 million right now, and you go and you price it at $899. I mean, you're going to get a flurry of showings. You're going to potentially get offers, but you might get people. Maybe your maximum offer that you get is $950 or $960. You're not going to come out with a market value or above market value outcome with much certainty. So right now, that's kind of a risky strategy, in my opinion. We are seeing it taken a little bit. Some agents are taking that approach with clients, but I'm seeing most of the successful sales these days are being priced thoughtfully, around their market values and allowing for a small market rate of negotiation. That's typically the approach that I recommend right now.
Thank you, Clinton, and that's why we are putting that title there. You're very good at negotiating and getting the very best for your client. And I see it on LinkedIn. It's my first time to request our viewers to follow you on LinkedIn because I am so impressed by what you do there. And maybe at some point you'll tell us how social media works for you. But this is the question I have for you. And I didn't think this question relates to me and so many people in my age group. What would you like to give? What kind of advice would you give to someone trying to retire and downsize right now?
Yeah, it's trying to retire and downsize. This is a goal that's quite common right now. I mean, amongst the more mature clients. So as we get older, I mean, it gets more difficult to maintain properties. It gets more difficult to climb stairs and do different things like that. And also, life is expensive. There's been so much inflation and costs, and there's definitely a trend to more of the older adult clients right now still having a mortgage. So there's a trend towards downsizing or right sizing, as they call it. So selling that family home that we've been hanging on to for a long time, a 3 or 4 bedroom home, selling that and moving into a smaller bungalow or a condo apartment. And in many cases as well, if there is some extra care needed or things, moving into retirement communities or longer term facilities where there's support and dining and activities and things like that. So the things to keep in mind, one of the biggest mistakes that I see folks making is expecting to free up more dollars, basically from going to that family home, to that condo, townhouse, or this sort of thing. So it's very important to know, I recommend to sell the property that you have first, right? Get it sold so you know exactly what you've got in hand. You know what your legal costs are. You know what your moving costs are estimated to be. You know your real estate commissions. So you know exactly what you've got in hand, because it can be a bit risky if you go and buy something that's appealing and then you don't get the price you're expecting, or you haven't done your valuation homework on what you're selling, and you don't free up enough money. Then it becomes a bit of a wasted exercise to try and free up what you needed. So again, I work with retiring clients, I work with older clients, and we have these great conversations. And I learned so much, because a lot of my clients that are more mature like that have been they've been in their home for 30, 40, 50 years, some of them even longer. And it's great to hear the stories and to hear about their goals and their changing lifestyles. And there's a lot of excitement, actually. There's a lot of relief as well when you do right size or move into a retirement community. It's very exciting to have some changes at that time. But yeah, definitely planning those budgets and planning the goals very clearly is what's key.
Awesome, great to know that, Clinton. So So thank you, Clinton. We've learned a lot about real estate, but honestly, I know that people like doing business with people they know, like, and trust. So I like bringing the personal side of you that people don't know. You have been self-employed for over 30 years, even longer than I've been self-employed, Clinton, and the way I pride myself being a serious entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
you are a role model for me, a role model for many. Can you please speak to us about self-employment? So you have not known a bi-weekly paycheck for 30 years, Clinton?
Yes, for the most part, that is the case. Yeah, I've been self-employed for the better part of 30 years. Prior to real estate, my wife and I owned a business in the custom home electronics space. We did custom home theaters, design, home electronics, automation, and we were a multi-award-winning company based out of the Burlington area. It was a very exciting time, and it's something I started back in the mid 90s. And but there was a lot. Being self-employed and being entrepreneurial, it's a very different career path than many people would be comfortable with. You know, you ride the roller coaster. You know, there's cash flow, there's dealing with hiring and designing a business and allowing for growth and timing, and there's a lot of different components to it. But it can be very exciting. We've had some very good years, and we've had a good run. It's been quite a long time now, as you said, 30 plus years. There was a period of time where we sold our audiovisual company to Best Buy back in 2005, and I actually had the opportunity to work on a team with Future Shop designing the Connect Pro install service. I was part of a team that designed that whole install service. So for a period of time, I did enjoy a bi-weekly paycheck for a few years. And then when 2008 happened, Best Buy decided to cancel a whole bunch of extracurricular projects and scale back to their core business because the economy was so rough. And so as a result of that time, we made a deal. I purchased back the assets of my company and launched a new business, which I ran for a further 8 years in that audio, video, custom theater, home automation space. And then, so this career allowed me to gain a ton of sales experience and business experience, marketing experience, so many things that were relevant. And when I decided to make a change to go into real estate, to work for myself in real estate, it was, of course, I had to generate business and find clients in the real estate space, but my comfort level and my knowledge of just everything from managing projects to preparing homes to how homes were constructed. And when I look at a wall, I can see right through that wall. I know I can see everything in there: the wires, the plumbing, the heating and ventilation systems, the insulation. I know exactly how these walls are constructed, and it really helps with conversations with regard to renovations. What can I do with this house? So a lot of experience. So I'm very comfortable with properties and all aspects of homes and construction. So that was a real nice asset. And also I worked with over 3,000 clients as well before I even got into real estate. So very experienced in customer service and working with clients and building relationships. So that it's been quite a rewarding career that I've had. So I'm very thankful. Yeah.
Thank you. And so, Clinton, now I also want to show the other side of you, right? Giving back. You have been great at doing that. I see it. Again, I follow you a lot. There's no post that you make that I've not seen. So please speak to our viewers about giving back and how it has helped you to connect with the community.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, giving back is something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's why I'm so involved with it. I mean, I've been with the Rotary Club of Burlington North now for 10 years. And, we get involved in all sorts of community activities, everything from participating in food sorts with food banks to running fundraising events. We've got Turkey Trot. We've got a new run coming up called the Spring into Action Run, which will be May 4th with our Rotary Club. And I was also involved in terms of launching a furniture bank, which we now call the Rotary Furniture Bank. And we've helped hundreds of families. We collect once a month. We do a bulk pickup day in Burlington. We collect furniture, which is suitable for women and children leaving shelters, as well as refugee families. And we provide these furniture no charge. We've got partnerships with Access Storage. We've got some complimentary storage lockers for this. We've got partnerships with women's shelters and immigration offices. So we've got a good thing going there. We've been so consistently helping people each month, and it just I feel so bad for the folks that are in need. And I recognize sometimes that it's cycles people go through. I mean, someone could be in a good spot, and then a relationship falls apart, and then some abuse happens, and the next thing you know, you have no access to money, and you've got no furniture, and you're leaving a shelter, and you're going to have to sleep on the floor. Like we've had so many clients, clients or people in need that have approached us through social agencies that are literally sleeping on the floor, and it just breaks our heart to think about that. And there's a bit of a push on it in the local governments right now to try and help with the increasing homelessness and different crises that are going on. And so these things are very important to me, and I do like to do what I can to give back and support the local community, because it's sometimes people need help, and sometimes the supports that are needed are not available.
Thank you, Clinton. And honestly, when we are talking about giving back, you're also giving back to the business community through the Entrepreneur Nation. And I actually see that you are with the Chamber of Commerce. It is because of you, Clinton, that the Entrepreneur Nation has been there in Burlington for 3 years. When I appointed you to lead the group as the regional director, you brought in consistency, right? It's because of you that chapter has been there, and we have attracted great people. I believe that it has been a win-win for you and for the members. I think you know that group more than I know it. Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's been great to be part of the Burlington chapter since its inception, and I appreciated that you reached out and tracked me down back at that time. And at that time, I was living in Ancaster and going through some changes in terms of where I was located. So we're living in Burlington now, and we love it, and it's great to be part of the Burlington chapter. And yeah, it's been very, very high quality people in that group. Very positive, hardworking, licensed professionals in that group, and no, it's been very nice. We made some great friendships in there, and we've definitely done some business. And each month we have a very engaging lunch meeting. We meet at the Cherry House restaurant, of course, as you know, and the beautiful quality food there, and always a couple of great presentations, and everyone gives their spiel about their work, and everyone gets to know each other and pass referrals to each other. So it's been, yeah, I mean, it was an honor for me to have the opportunity to be the regional director for the 1 year, and I appreciated all the recognition that you gave me for that. And no, it was great. And now we've got Sabrina, who's the regional director, and she's actually just taken the leave for maternity. It's very exciting for her family, and we're looking forward to having Jeff Lewis run the show for a little bit. But no, it's good. The regional director piece is really a cool opportunity, and just a very, very good group, very, very relaxed, and everyone's very positive and supportive of each other. So it's a nice, nice environment, a nice group to be part of. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're the one who actually posted there on LinkedIn and say, come rain, come snow, they are always there, right? That is the chapter that has never met virtually online, even when it's snowing. They still like going for the in-person meetings.
Yeah, no, we always consider, we always consider your advice. The weather could be bad, so maybe consider virtual, and we do a quick vote. Who wants to meet virtual? And no one puts their hand up. And who wants to meet in person? Everyone puts their hand up. It's like, all right, I guess we're meeting in person.
That is great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Clinton. Then we're happy to have you. And please, if something changes in the real estate market, or I see you like a business advisor. With all this experience that you have, if you ever want to talk about any topic, please reach out and we'll be happy to have you back.
Okay, very much appreciate that. And thank you again, Lucy.
Thank you. Our viewers, thank you so much for watching.